Hello and welcome back to Final Bell. So it's been a little while. I'm just going to do something real quick, some quick fire UFC 249 predictions. I'm only going to do the main card, but I will tell you for free, I think that Donald Cerrone is going to pull it out against Pettis in the main event of the prelims. I just think Cerrone is a little bit grittier. I think he'll get it done against Pettis by a late TKO. I'm going to say TKO third round. So let's get straight into the main card then. Please, before I do this, guys, put a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Right, so first up, it is Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro. Now, this should not be on the main card. Uriah Hall, Jacare Souza, Donald Cerrone, Pettis, those could both definitely be ahead of this as far as a main card fight, but it's because Greg Hardy is a big name, as we know. However, I actually think the little that I've seen, this is going to be a typical heavyweight slugfest. This is either going to be a first round KO or it's going to be a really boring decision. And I'm actually going to go with a first round KO in favour of De Castro. I think that he's a better technical striker than Hardy, and I think he puts Hardy away early. So, next up, we've got Calvin Kattar versus Little Heathen Jeremy Stephens. So, this is going to be a great fight, to be honest. Like, I haven't thought much about this fight because, let's be real, we don't know whether something last minute is going to stop this whole card from happening, but Kattar versus Stephens is going to be an absolute war. I think Kattar is the slightly better striker and he's got more tools, but I think this is going to be a gritty fight, and I think that this is going to go to a decision. It's going to be tight, but I think Jeremy Stephens will nick it. I think he'll nick it, and I think he'll manage to breathe some life back into his career, which is good because I love watching Jeremy Stephens fight. I don't think you can really not like Jeremy Stephens. So I'm going to go with Jeremy Stephens via a close but clear decision in a fight that, to be honest, will probably take years off both men's career, unfortunately. Next up, we've got Francis Ngannou versus Joe Zinio, who, to be fair, I've not seen much of. I've only seen a little bit of him. You know, he can obviously punch, he's a very hard hitter, but he did get outboxed by Overeem up until landing that big shot at the end. But I think what we can see from that fight is that he's potentially not the greatest technical striker, however, he carries his power late into the fight, which cannot be said for all heavyweights. And Ngannou, you know, it's difficult because we haven't seen him go into those deep waters. However, I don't think this fight's going there. I think that Ngannou's a better technical boxer. I think he's more crisp than Rozenstruik. I think Rozenstruik's very hittable, if I'm even saying that right. I think Rozenstruik's very hittable, and I think that Ngannou wins by first round KO. Absolute devastation, as per usual. So next up, getting into the big ones now. Getting into the big boys. So, Henry Cejudo versus Dominick Cruz. Henry Cejudo versus Cruz. This is a really tough one, because Cejudo is the more active fighter, and a lot of people are using that as a reason why he's definitely going to win. However, when you look at it factually, Cejudo's not been that active. He's not fought in ages. Like, the Dillashaw fight was, like, I think that was last year now. So, I think that was close to 18 months ago. So, Cejudo is not this active fighter that people are talking about. However, he has been a lot more active than Dominick Cruz. I think Dominick Cruz has literally gone 3 years without fighting. So I think he's been fortunate to get into this position, but I'm not going to say that he doesn't deserve it. Dominick Cruz is a pioneering bantamweight, and he's got a style that's so unusual that it would give anyone problems. It literally give anyone problems. So I think that it depends what version of Dominick Cruz comes back, because he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's entering his mid-30s. So if he's able to he's come back from long injuries before. If he's able to do what he did against TJ Dillashaw and come back in really good shape, I think he's got a really good chance of making this close. I think if not, then Cejudo absolutely starches him. And I don't want that to happen. I don't particularly like Cejudo, and I'm a big fan of Dominick Cruz. I think his style is so unusual, it's very unpredictable, and it's just not something that you see in MMA. So what I'm going to go with here, I'm going to say Dominick Cruz is going to win this fight. I think that he comes in shape. He's got one of those weird mindsets where he probably has been in the gym for the last 3 and a bit years and just hasn't made a comeback. You know, I don't know if he's been declining fights or whatever. So I'm expecting Dominick Cruz to be in really good shape here. And I think what he'll probably do is he'll come out, his style is going to shock Cejudo, and I think he's actually a better, this is going to surprise a few people, and this is going to be slightly controversial, but I do actually think Cruz is a better MMA wrestler than Cejudo is. Cejudo, obviously, much better amateur background, but Dominick Cruz's timing on takedowns, I think it probably supersedes Cejudo's ability. So I actually think Dominick could get the better of the early wrestling exchanges, as well as implementing that weird footwork and the weird style, and it'll make it really difficult for Cejudo to tag him. I do think that there'll be a bit of ring rust, so I think Cruz will flag later on. His style is naturally like that anyway. It takes a lot of energy to pull off that footwork all the time. So I think Cruz is likely going to slow down, and I think Cejudo will possibly take the last 2 rounds. So what's going to end up happening is there's all this bullshit about rip it away from the champion, which, to be honest, it is exactly what I said it is. It's bullshit. But I think there'll be a judge, there'll be an arsehole judge that gives it to Cejudo because of that. So I think Cruz takes the title by split decision. And that is going with my heart over my head, because I really want Cruz to win this. But I do think he's got what it takes to get it done, providing that he shows up in shape. So that's Cruz versus Cejudo. Cruz by split decision. Ferguson versus Gaethje. Oh my god. Now this is going to be such a war. And I do think that Gaethje's best chance here is to end it early. And he has got really good timing. We've seen in his recent fights that he used to sort of march forward like a headless chicken and kick people's legs and then just get into brawls. Whereas he's been a lot smarter in his last couple of fights, and we can see that, and it's improved his timing. Like he's knocking people out. He knocked out Edson Barboza, but I do think he's still someone that he's more of a fast twitch guy. He's not someone that can keep that pace for the entire 5 rounds. Whereas I think we've seen that Ferguson can. Against Dos Anjos, Ferguson looked like he could go another 5 rounds. So I think that Gaethje's best chance is to get it done early, and I think he has a better chance than people think of doing it. So I don't know what the odds are, but if I was you, I'd stick a bit of money on Gaethje if the odds are reasonable. However, I do actually think Ferguson will beat him. As much as I've just said bet on Gaethje, I think Ferguson will win. I think that Gaethje's going to give him a scare though. I think Gaethje could clip him early, and I think Ferguson's going to have to work hard to survive. However, I think 2nd round onwards, I think Ferguson takes over. He's going to implement that weird boxing that he has, along with some kicks. You know, he's just got that long jab. I don't think Gaethje's going to have what it takes to deal with it. And if he does try to get on the inside, Ferguson's got those sharp elbows and knees. And I think what will eventually happen is Ferguson will piece Gaethje up in the 3rd and 4th rounds. Like he pieces up everyone else. He pieces up everyone, and I think he's going to do that to Gaethje. I think Gaethje's going to shoot in for a desperation takedown or something of the like, and then Ferguson's going to catch him in a Darce choke for the submission win. So I think Ferguson by submission in the 4th rounds. And hopefully this will finally give us the fight that everyone wants. Ferguson versus Khabib, because Ferguson is getting old. He's 36. He's not going to continue just getting better and better. That age is going to catch up at some point. And if it catches up before he gets to fight Khabib, it's going to be seriously sad. So this is a joke that he's having to go through Justin Gaethje to even get to Khabib, but I think he gets it done. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. As always, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed, please click on the notification button, which is just the bell underneath. And as always, please leave a comment underneath the video giving me your predictions, as we always want to create discussions amongst the MMA community. Thanks very much. Peace.